Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Chief Sophia of the AMARUKHAN Band of Indians, and this video is a continuation in our temple series. This is the temple of Pisces, which is ruled by Poseidon. We are going to, if you have a lot of Pisces placements, Pisces, calling all of the Pisces. This is your temple. This is your God. Please, please, please go to the Wikipedia, type in Poseidon, read the entire article. In this video, we're just going to read the overview. We're going to do the mythology, and we're going to take a look at what, if anything, Poseidon did in the Trojan War. And that's going to be it. We're going to do more videos expounding upon this, but this is just like a little introduction, okay? So I forgot my other chart. I made another chart too. Yeah, this chart. Poseidon is related to Pisces. In the, what is this? Hold on, let me look at my other chart. I'm sorry, y'all. I made another chart that was easier for me to understand because I have 10 bajillion charts. All right, so the Titan version of Poseidon is Nereus. Then there's Poseidon. He's the Olympian. And the Roman, I guess, or Roman equivalent of Poseidon is Neptune. In the Hindu pantheon is Varuna. And from the 12 tribes, it's Benjamin, okay? Poseidon is the god of the sea and horses. His iconography is basically always a trident, okay? So we know that in our Black American flag that everyone has seen, the red and black one, the diadem and the sword, when you put it together, do resemble a trident. So we know this is one of our main gods that the black people on this land, from this land, dealt with, okay? So let's read. Poseidon is one of the 12 Olympians in the ancient Greek religion and mythology, presiding over the sea, storms, earthquakes, and horses. He was the protector of seafarers and the guardian of many Hellenistic cities and colonies. In pre-Olympian Bronze Age Greece, Poseidon was venerated as a chief deity at Pylos and Thebes with the cult title Earthshaker. In myths of isolated Arcadia, he is related to Demeter and Persephone and was venerated as a horse and as a god of the waters. Poseidon maintained both associations among most Greeks. He was regarded as the father of horses, who, with a strike of his trident, created springs. In terms for horses and springs are related in the Greek language. His Roman equivalent is Neptune. Homer and Hesiod suggested that Poseidon became lord of the sea when, following the overthrow of Kronos, the world was divided by lot among Kronos' 3 sons. Zeus was given the sky, Hades the underworld, and Poseidon the sea, and the earth and Mount Olympus belonging to all 3. In Plato's Timaeus and Critias, the legendary island of Atlantis was Poseidon's domain. In Homer's Iliad, Poseidon supports the Greeks against the Trojans during the Trojan War. In the Odyssey, during the sea voyage from Troy back to Ithaca, the Greek hero Odysseus provokes Poseidon's fury by blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus. Now remember, we already talked about the Cyclops. I'm just going to pause here. We already talked about the Cyclops and how the, what are they called? Hurricanes are Cyclops, okay? Hurricanes are Cyclops. And so it's Poseidon that releases the Cyclops, right? That's his son, okay? So, resulting in Poseidon punishing him with storms, causing the complete loss of his ship and numerous of his companions, and delaying his return by 10 years. Okay, so it didn't take him 10 years. It was, listen here, Ithaca was not 10 years from Troy. It just took Odysseus 10 years. Okay, so now when I start saying that Troy is America, specifically DC, you understand Ithaca is not 10 years away by ship. It's like a couple weeks. But if you get hit by a cyclops, i.e. a hurricane, and then a bunch of other storms, you have, every time you get a boat ready to go sail, it gets destroyed by the storms. Yeah, it's going to take you 10 years to go 100 or 200 miles. Ithaca is about from DC. Well, if you're going by water, if you come down to Potomac, obviously, you come down to Potomac, you get onto the Atlantic, and you sail up the Atlantic, and then there's a river. I don't know what river that is in New York, but when you get into New York City, y'all might know it. It's a river that you can take that probably leads to the navigable waters that go all the way to Ithaca, because Ithaca is upstate New York, closer to Canada. I don't think it's quite as far in as Buffalo, but anyway, when we start talking about this in terms of the Trojan War happening in America, then you can see this is telling a slightly different story. Okay, it's similar. Wait a minute. Poseidon is famous for his contests with other deities for winning patronage of the city. According to legend, Athena became the patron goddess of the city Athens after a competition with Poseidon, though he remained on Acropolis in the form of his surrogate. This word, I can't pronounce. Okay. After the fight, Poseidon sent a monstrous flood to the Attic plain to punish the Athenians for not choosing him. In similar competitions with other deities in different cities, he causes devastating floods when he loses. Poseidon is a horrifying and avenging god and must be honored even when he is not the patron deity of the city. So what have you been doing to honoring Poseidon? Again, see my video from earlier today. We're asking Poseidon for safe passage and safe harbor, and in exchange, we will figure out how to clean up the water. Like how to neutralize this quote unquote cursed water before people just start dumping into the ocean as a way of, I'm not going to say it. I'm just so sorry. So, as far as etymology is concerned, they don't know where it comes from. They think it might mean husband. They don't know, okay? They never know anything. Let's see. All right, so in Arcadian myths, that's what we're going to read. This is talking about Bronze Age Greece, okay? Let's go straight to the mythology, because they got a lot of, let's just go straight to the mythology. So remember, it's Poseidon because he has there's always a trident, okay? All right. In the standard version, this is the mythology. In standard versions, Poseidon was born to the Titans Kronos and Rhea, the fifth child out of six born after Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, in that order. Because Poseidon's father was afraid one of his children would overthrow him like he had done his own father, Kronos devoured each infant as soon as they were born. Poseidon was the last one to suffer this fate before Rhea decided to deceive Kronos and whisk the sixth child, Zeus, away from safety, after offering Kronos a rock wrapped in a blanket to eat. Once Zeus was grown, he gave his father a powerful emetic, which made him gorge up the children he had eaten. 5 children emerged from their father's belly in reverse order, making Poseidon both the second youngest child and the second oldest child at the same time. Armed with the trident forged by the Cyclops, Poseidon, with his siblings and other divine allies, defeated the Titans and became rulers in their place. According to Homer and Apollodorus, Zeus, Poseidon, and the third brother Hades divided the world between them by drawing lots. Zeus got the sky, Poseidon the sea, and Hades the underworld. So there's a scripture that talks about Jesus' robe, and they drew lots to decide who would get his robe. That's in the energy of this, right? It seems so random. We sang about it on Pascha. It seems so random. Like, why would they have drawn lots for his clothes? Why wouldn't they just, because it was fulfilling a prophecy? And this is a part of that prophecy, right? In a rarer, later version, Poseidon avoided being devoured by his father, as his mother Rhea saved him in the same manner she did Zeus, by offering Kronos a foal instead, claiming she had given birth to a horse instead of a god, while she had actually laid the child in a flock. Rhea entrusted her infant to a spring nymph. When Kronos demanded the child, the nymph Arn denied having him, and her spring thereafter was called Arn, which bears the resemblance to the Greek word for deny. Okay. In another tale, Rhea gave Poseidon to the Telechines, ancient inhabitants of the islands of Rhodes, Catharia, and Ocean Nymph became the young god's nurse. As Poseidon grew, he fell in love with Halia, the beautiful sister of Telechines, and fathered 6 sons and 1 daughter, Rhodos, on her. By the time Aphrodite, the goddess of love, had been born and risen from the sea, he attempted to make a stop at Rhodes on her way to Cyprus. Poseidon and Halia's son denied her hospitality, so Aphrodite cursed them to fall in love and rape Halia. After they had done so, Poseidon made them sink below the sea. Wow. In Homer's Odyssey, Poseidon has a home in Aegae. Aegae. Poseidon broke off a piece of the island coast called Nisyeros and threw it on top of Polybotes. Strabo also relates the story of Polybotes buried under Neros, but as to say that some Polybotes lies under coast instead. All right, city patronage, the founding of Athens. Athena became the patron goddess of the city Athens after a competition with Poseidon. Yet Poseidon remained a numinous presence on the Acropolis in the form of his surrogate, Big E, Erectheus, Erechtheus. Okay, after the dissolution of the festival at the end of the year in the Athenian calendar. Oh, wait a minute. The Athenian calendar. That's interesting. The Skira, priests of Athena, and the priests of Poseidon would process under canopies to Eleusis. They agreed that each would give the Athenians 1 gift, and the Athenians would choose whichever gift they preserved. Poseidon struck the ground with his trident, and a spring sprang up. The water was salty and not very useful, but it represented his true gift, access to trade. Oh, okay. Athens, at its height, was a significant power, defeating the Persian fleet in the Battle of Salamis. For his part, Athena offered an olive tree. The Athenians, their king, Cecrops, accepted the olive tree along with Athena as their patron, for the olive tree brought wood, oil, and food. After the fight, infuriated by his loss, Poseidon sent a monstrous flood to the Attic plain to punish the Athenians for not choosing him. The depression made by Poseidon's trident filled the salt water, was surrounded by the northern hall of Erythium, remaining open to the air. Burkett noted, in cult, Poseidon was identified with Erechtheus. The myth turns this into a temporal causal sequence. His anger at losing, Poseidon led his son Eumolpus against Athens and killed Erechtheus. It is also said that Poseidon, in his anger over his defeat, sent one of his sons, Halirrhothius, to cut down Athena's tree gift, but Halirrhothius swung his axe, missed his aim, and fell on himself, killing him instantly. Poseidon, in fury, accused Ares of the murder, and the matter was eventually settled on the Areopagus, the hill of Ares, in favor of Ares, which was thereafter named after the event. In other versions, Halirrhothius raped Eclipse, Ares' daughter, so Ares slew him. Poseidon was enraged over the murder of his son, and Ares thus held in hold, which eventually acquitted him. The contest of Athena and Poseidon is the subject of the reliefs on the western pediment of the Parthenon, the first site that greeted the arriving visitor. The myth, construed by Robert Graves and others, reflected a clash between the inhabitants during the Mycenaean times and newer immigrants. Athens, at its height, was a significant sea power, at one point defeating the Persian fleet in Salamis Islands in a battle. Say walls of Troy. Poseidon and Apollo, having all offended Zeus by the rebellion and Hera's scheme, were temporarily stripped of their divine authority and sent to serve King Laomedon of Troy. He had them build huge walls around the city and promised to reward them with his immortal horses, a promise that he then refused to fulfill. In vengeance, before the Trojan War, Poseidon sent a sea monster to attack Troy. The monster was later killed by Heracles. All right, let's see what he did in the Troy War. Oh, they don't have a specific Troy War thing for him, like they do with some of the other ones. That's quite interesting. He apparently also had a lot of kids, but they talk about it in grape terms, which I don't know why that is. So anyway, I don't see anything else I'm going to mention. So basically, it seems to be like Poseidon. Just trying to think. Like this whole thing with Athena and Athens, right? This is what I'm thinking. He gets really upset when people don't engage in or with the gift that he provides, right? So in us asking him for safe passage and safe harbor, first, we're asking him first, right? Mind you, because the new year starts tomorrow. Obviously, the Athenian year is the year that starts with the lunar cycle, which starts tomorrow. Like, that's pretty obvious to me, right? So instead of accepting Athena as our patron over Poseidon, what we're doing is asking Poseidon to be our patron over Athena. So this should be, even though we've been studying the calendar, right? This full moon is happening before the new year. I mean, it always would. But the full moon in Pisces, and it was an eclipse, happened before the new year. So we're asking Poseidon again for safe passage and safe harbor through Athens, this land of Athena. So like I said, we're choosing Poseidon over Athena as one of our patrons. Not that all of them are our patrons, like just understand what I'm saying. It's just that Poseidon comes first. And it's all about putting everybody back in their proper order and venerating them in the way that it needs to be done. It's like, yeah, you can have Athena. Athena is the ruler of the calendar, obviously Aries. But don't celebrate Athena when it's time to be working with Poseidon. Like, that seems to be the message to me. And when you do that, when you put Poseidon in his proper place, then pretty much you have his blessing. So I hope that makes sense. Again, if you're a Pisces person, please go read the full article. I skipped over a lot of stuff because all of these articles about the what's the name are really long, and also they're not complete. So I just don't see no reason to go into it super deep when I know that they're not complete. So yeah, shalom, peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.